Hello, I'm going to walk you through the setup for the access control clicking using Playmaker, where we're basically finding the scrambler to open up these two doors, and the two doors will be checking to see if one is closed before the other one can open, and there's a little control panel here we have to interact with. So let me show you what it does. You also notice that I have some GUI text, and I'll talk about how that what handles that on the screen. So we hit play. Okay, see I have a message here telling me what I need to do. First step I need to do, my first goal, and obviously I'll be inside this building when I spawn, but I'll go outside, I'll explore, then finally when I get to this building, it's going to update my current status, give me a 0 of 2, letting me know I have 2 things that I need to do. It says the control panel's locked. Let's check it, hit E. It'd be nice if I had some feedback here to press E, but right now that's not in. Now I need to go find the scrambler. This can be hidden anywhere, obviously. Once again, this needs to have some feedback. I walk up on it, hit E, I collect it, I have an audio cue there. Now I can go and go here, open up the door. These doors are set up pretty nicely. Wait for me and I can trigger it. I can go back and re-trigger it, and it will not re-trigger until it closes, so that's kind of nice. But if I stand there, it will eventually reopen. So now let's see if I can open up this inner door. I cannot do that because that door behind is not closed. But now that it's closing, it should open up this one. There we go. So those 2 doors are working pretty good. And I can change. I have 2 delays on there, which I'll talk about later on. And that's going to pretty much be it on how that works. Go outside. Now there's an auto close here. If I run away and I don't close the door, it will close automatically after I think I have it set to 15 seconds, but I can make it less if need be, maybe 10. It should close any minute now. Well, about there it is. Now these are 2 assets that you also have. This one I'll handle with the cinematic at the end. We'll see this little power cell go into here, and that would be the Win movie. I'll do that for you. And here is the power cell that you can basically place inside this the shuttle. Maybe you can place the shuttle inside the hangar here, so we can the player, once he gets inside, if he explores here, he can pick this up, and you can handle that just like you handle the scrambler. And that will be pretty much it. So let me talk about how it's set up. So if we go over here, notice we have some FSMs. We have 2 cargo doors that are being activated by a trigger. Here's the doors actually. The triggers are not connected to the doors. We have the scrambler prefab that has a trigger on it. Okay. We have 4 managers. I'm going to be setting up 2 of these for you by scratch, but 4 managers, and then we have 1 trigger update, which starts that first quest, changes my quest from 1 to 2, and I get that second message on the screen. So let's look at the FSMs real quick. Now, you need to have Playmaker installed, obviously, and open up the editor. Now, I have it docked. I mean, I don't have it docked yet, but I will dock it because at this moment I don't need to see the game menu. But it's good if you are trying to get things working. It's good to actually have this open. Oops, don't want to mess anything up there. It's good to have this open so you can actually watch it update while you are playing. So this is a trigger, and you can actually double check it. If I go to play, you can see that it's green, and as soon as I walk into it, it updates, and actually that one actually updates and disappears, so it's not actually a good one to choose, but you know what I mean. I'm going to do it with one of these. Let's do it with, yeah, that's not going to disappear, so You'll see that will update as I walk up to it, and I'll get feedback. So that's good to have open, so you can actually see, see if you have a bug, see where it's getting stuck. But right now, I'm just going to dock it here, and I'll have it docked here for most of the time when I'm doing the editing, because it's nice and big, and we can actually take a look at it. Now notice these FSMs have on them these little comments below. When you set it up, you're not going to have that. I did this especially for you, so when you go to set it up, you can see how each one of these are set up. I am also going to give you a PDF that has screen captures of each FSM and each state and exactly each action in the state with all the settings, so you can go by and set them up step by step. So anyway, let's go to, I guess we can start with the trigger. This first trigger actually triggers the quest to update. That's all it does. Then I have the quest managers. This quest managers handles me clicking on the trigger for the console, and as I click, it updates the necessary quest and buzzes if I don't have the descrambler. Buzzes. It checks for the descrambler, and it listens for a click, and then it waits for the player to press E. Then here it checks global variables to see if the player has collected the scrambler, plays the buzz sound if I don't, and if I do, it sends the event to the outer door GUI, and the GUI text quest counter in order to open up the door and to update the counter. Okay, so yeah, each one of these is going to have these nice, like I said before, these nice comments. I will be showing you in the next videos a few things just in case you forgot. I'll be showing you how to do global variables, how to set up global events, obviously how to set up variables, how to set up events, states and actions. Once again, these are actions. Here's your action browser. You can go here and type in something, a couple letters to do a search for your action. Each one of these these actions are in these events. Then you have your actual events here. Then you have your variables, your events. And the way that I'm going to be going about it later on is first we're going to start with seeing which variables we need to set up. Then we're going to see which events we need to set up, and then we're going to go ahead and set up each one of these states one by one. Okay. So Quest Manager handles, the Click Manager handles the clicking. Quest Managers handles the quest, updates the quest, and sends messages out to update the GUI as well. Do I have the descrambler? Yes, no. If I do, send a message out, advance the quest here, adds one to the queue stage variable, or the quest stage variable. So yeah, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory once you start setting one of these up. GUI text quest stage, GUI text quest steps. This handles updating this GUI text here, and this GUI counter, and this GUI text. And we're going to set one of these up, so it's going to be very clear how that works. And, oh, by the way, these are just empty game objects. Well, that's not. That's a trigger. But these here, these are just empty game objects. Okay? These are just empty game objects that are in the scene. They can be anywhere in the scene, right? So these three are just empty game objects. This is actually a trigger. Okay, that's the trigger. The scrambler is also a trigger, which is very self-explanatory when you look at it. Okay. And these are obviously triggers because they're called triggers. And let me just talk about how this is set up. Now this trigger obviously works with the door. It's not attached to the door. The cargo door itself has its own collider. You can see here has its own box slider that I've just linked to it. The cargo door has animations that you can see here, different animations that it has, and yeah, and then the cargo trigger just sits in front of it. And the cargo door trigger, this is actually set up slightly different than the other one, but the other trigger is very similar. The only difference is that the first door actually gets a remote call, I should say receives a remote call from the Go Click Manager to actually open the door once you have obtained the descrambler. And then from there it goes into the opening animation. We use a Boolean to check to see if the other doors open and close and vice versa. Then when it finishes that, waits. I put this in so the door would not open up and re-trigger too soon. And then it triggers the door, sends the event out. This closes the door after closes the door, has an auto when you leave the trigger. Also, I close the door if you're in here longer than if you leave the door open, it auto closes the door. Then here it finishes when it plays the animation and it plays the sound, and then we have here that's the trigger that's waiting for the next person or the next time you go to trigger it, and we turn the bool back to being true that it's now closed. So yeah, that's pretty much how this is set up. It's pretty simple. Setup wise anyway. You know, a couple triggers or a few triggers or 4 triggers, and some game managers, empty game objects. And like I said, you're going to set this up so you'll know exactly how this works. So what else do I need to say? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, once again, I have this stock so I can work. Yeah, that's it.